product increments, you do even outside of safe. But for some reason, that term PI planning has kind of been hijacked into the safe term.
I think a lot of people started calling it like big room planning too.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. So that's good to know. Maybe we'll start doing that. Maybe that could be a good name.
I've had some companies that don't like the whole PI thing.
Yeah.
Big room planning. Because you get everybody in a big room. And
right. Well, so what we want to do is get rid of that. Because even if it's virtual, like I've heard of teams doing like 2 days of PI planning.
It's really
that's
rough.
a lot of money.
It's rough because you got to get all the key stakeholders.
Yeah.
And you got to get the expensive players. But you can't just do it with the individual contributors, right? You need vision, you need guidance, you need a direction, and that has to come top down.
Right.
Because it's really challenging to do a PI plan from the bottom up.
Right. So. It is. So one of the things that we've done recently, we got a new tagline. I don't know if you saw it over here. You don't need a Gantt chart. You need clear path for Jira.
I did see that. It's
okay.
I love it.
Oh, so we love it because we don't like Gantt charts. Gantt charts aren't agile. That's detailed project planning. But Agile is about projections, not detailed plans. So what we did is kind of our next big feature. We call it sprint planning mode. So you've seen our visual backlog mode where it lays things out in the order of implementation. We have the tools that can analyze your critical path, identify your bottlenecks, okay? There's a lot of information in here, right? So there's a seminal book in UX and app development called Don't Make Me Think. It's great. Because that's what people want. Don't make me think. You have all the information, just do this for me.
Right.
Okay? So if you were to click here, you'd go to sprint planning mode. I'm just going to jump over here. So what sprint planning mode is, so we've changed the way that we're showing the tickets. Now what we're going to do is...
Our backlog.
It is a backlog view, so it's all the tickets that aren't in sprint that match your query. We have now ordered them so the most critical tickets are on the left. But it's still got that implementation order, that hierarchy of sprints. Okay.
How do we know the most critical on the left? What's the criteria for that?
So what we're doing is the dependencies that you've already put in. Okay. We're looking at the critical path analysis. So what is your schedule risk? What's your technical risk? What are your bottlenecks? If you have estimates, we're taking into account story points. So if you want
any due date?
No due dates because
we're agile.
We're an agile tool. So the way we look at it is it'll get done when it gets done, right? That's what agile is. You want a projection, not a plan. So due dates, that's Gantt charts.
Yeah, that's Gantt charts. Yeah.
That's not us. But what we will do is every team in agile, you should have a velocity that's defined.
How are we pulling that? Is that okay, that's exactly. It's almost like you can read my mind.
Yeah, so you can edit it, but you know what, teams, if your yesterday's weather is pretty consistent, you can come here and set a setting. So when you come in and you plan future sprints, you have good defaults. I'm big about that. So we have all the sprint planning features you have in the backlog mode. You can create a sprint, start a sprint, edit a sprint, delete it. But if you come here, you can use our algorithm that's putting priority tickets to the left. You can create.
So it just had the backlog. We haven't done anything with it other than link things up.
Correct.
And you are basically creating a new sprint.
We are. You're creating a sprint. And if you want to plan it manually, you can take our recommendations. You can drag and drop it up here. It'll add it to the Jira sprint. It'll automatically update counts. So it'll tell you the total number of issues, the total number of story points in that sprint. It would also evaluate for warnings against your issue max and your velocity if you wanted to do this manually. Because some people want to do that.
Right.
But if you want to do it what I call auto-magically.
Very appropriate given the city and town that we're in.
It is, very much in Anaheim. What we have here is an auto plan option. So we'll take all those factors into account. You can just say, plan the next sprint for me. And we'll take all that information in. We'll tell you what the tickets are. In this case, you have to kind of ramp up here. You can't have a full team doing the capacity. It will create that sprint and add the tickets to it. Because some teams just do a sprint at a time, right? But what if you're...
Because I tell people, if you're really going that far out, you better go to Vegas and...
Correct, yeah. If you're going that far out...
It's hard to plan that far out, though, because your plan's supposed to change.
They are supposed to change. So what you can do, though, is even though in Agile, it'll get done when it gets done, what does everybody ask in a company? When's it going to get done, right? So you still have to have some sort of estimate, give them some sort of confidence of when it'll get done. You can actually come in here and in our auto plan, you can pick all sprints. And when you do that, it'll do the analysis for all the tickets that match your query. It's going to tell you you need a total of 8 sprints. It's going to show you the right tickets to do at the right time, so you're always using your team capacity. You are burning down your schedule and technical risk. If you click confirm, it's going to create all the sprints. It's going to move all the tickets. It's all in there for you. So something that for some teams are like hours of meetings with all the stakeholders in there, like arguing about it.
Yeah, a lot of arguing. Maybe.
Correct. It's basically done in a minute. Now, you still go back. There still may be arguing. Someone might say, no, I don't want that ticket, or you know what, that's Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, people aren't going to be around. You can split it out into separate sprints however you want. But what we're doing here is we are auto-magically planning ahead for you. So what you have is a reasonable plan, an executable plan. So your team's confident. Your higher-ups can look at it and say, yeah, this is something we can do. And this is something that Jira has the capability to do in advanced roadmaps. It's got an auto-plan feature. There's some other apps that do it as well, but they don't really do it in the dependency-first fashion that we do. Yeah. And in an agile fashion. Again, we don't care about due dates. It's if this is the priority work that needs to be done, it needs to get done. Tell me when it will be done.
And it's really leveraging the power of the story points plus your velocity to help you with that math.
Correct. And
but why is our first sprint so low then?
So the first sprint's so low because I'll switch over to visual backlog mode here because you can kind of go back and forth. It'll show the tickets again.
Animation.
Well, thank you. So because of the blocking dependencies here, like in reality, this ramp up here, if you really want your whole team to do it, you should probably Kanban it. You really shouldn't do a sprint. But in Agile, you generally don't put two tickets in the same sprint that block each other.
Right.
Sometimes you accept that risk. So here we said, okay, maybe you accept a little bit of risk. You do these 3 tickets, but that's as far as you really should do.
But this is a really cool, powerful feature because, again, you just got to define scope, get some prioritization in there.
Correct.
Get some estimation in there.
Correct.
Right? And then hit a magical button.
Correct. Yes. And really the estimation part is kind of the power of it because so many people estimate terribly, right? So something that we found in all of our work in app dev is for any given team, once they're experienced, they know each other, every team has like an average ticket.
Right.
And it's kind of like a bell curve throughout. Yeah. A lot of our teams, it's 3 story points, which is about 2 to 3 days worth of work.
It's very team to team, but it's okay though because at the end of the day, you only put the velocity that's varied for your team anyways.
Correct. Or in our case, like we know generally for any given sprint, a developer can do 2 tickets. That's the average. So we really don't even need story points to do our estimates. Yeah. What we do is we say, if there's a 5 developer team, 10 tickets a sprint's the max. We skeleton out all the stories and then say auto plan and we can estimate. And for us in our custom application development, we do a lot of modernization use cases. So we'll do multi-year efforts, multi-million-dollar, and we use ClearPath to estimate. That's awesome. It's fairly accurate. Yeah. And it's something that it gives confidence to the client, our stakeholders as well, because they can see the method behind the madness. I mean, if you're paying for something like, let's say the mechanic, you bring your car in, they're like, oh, it's going to be like $3,000. You want to know what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
So you want to look under the hood.
You can lay a path.
Correct.
A clear path.
A clear path. So what clear path does is it lay it out with the visualization. You can see your clear path to success. And we feel like it's a powerful new feature, and it's really laying that groundwork. Right now, sprint planning mode, it's primarily looking at single team base, but it's going to be extensible to multi-team.
Yeah, now I can start seeing the big room PI planning, right? Because across various teams, you know what their priorities are.